The cycle of comfort and discomfort. I wanted to talk about a little bit this cycle here because we oftentimes tend to label animals and others and ourselves with judgments like good dog, bad dog, you're a kind person, you're mean as nothing like that. So I wanted to talk about symptoms, feelings, needs, and strategies. Whenever we see a symptom coming up, let it be one which we feel comfortable with or one which we would like to encourage the doodle not to do or do something else instead, not just we have feelings about that, but our doodles as well. And once we are able to dig deeper what kind of feelings we both have and what kind of needs are under those feelings, we're going to be able to come up with strategies to keep everyone more comfortable, so more cooperative. Let's take a look at an example here. For example, you see your doodle is pulling his feet away from you when you are trying to brush him. What kind of feelings are there for you? You might feel frustrated, you might get angry, you might feel curious, like what's going on in the doggy, or whatever kind of feelings you can have, feel it here. What kind of feelings might your doodle have? They probably feel uncomfortable, worried, anxious. They might feel pain because we are pulling on the skin with the brush getting stuck in the mat. They can feel a lot of things. And once we figure out what kind of feelings they have and we have, we're going to be able to come up with the underlying needs. For example, we have a need for our doodle to be healthy, to be tangle and mat free so they can be comfortable. And they have a need for comfort. Let's say they feel pain whenever we are brushing them or whenever there are mats there, and they need comfort. So how can we make sure that we meet our need for a healthy, pain-free, tangle-free doodle? And how can we meet the doodle's need to feel comfortable while getting brushed and while being groomed in general? So we can come up with strategies that will meet both of our need. For example, we can learn about toe mohawks, and they are matted hair between the toes. We're going to talk about them. And we can, once we learn about them, then we can check for them before we would brush the feet. That's one way to keep the doodle comfortable. Another one is in case they experienced nail trimming in a way that they trimmed the nails too short and it was bleeding, they felt pain. So we need to come up with strategies to eliminate that kind of experience from their lives, and to desensitize them, to build trust again in humanity from their perspective, so they're gonna feel comfortable and they can get rid of that PTSD, what they got from that experience, and the symptoms, the pulling of the feet, will just go away once we figured out the real need and came up with strategies that will fulfill those needs behind that. So once you figured out a need and came up with the right strategy to meet that need, in case the symptom goes away, then you're gonna be able, you're gonna know that, oh, I got it right. That was the need behind it. Or in case the symptom still persists, then you're gonna know that, oh, there's gonna be probably another need under there, which we did not met. So let's dig a little bit deeper. What can go on in there? Let's talk a little bit about signs of discomfort. I often hear people say, my doodle is shy, or my doodle is aggressive, or my doodle is a tank, or my doodle is a bully. I don't hear that last one too often, but there are doggies who need a little bit of help to stay comfortable. And all of those are very, very important to keep them comfortable. So whenever we say those labels, we are not talking about snapshots or images about the doodles' lives, but we are talking about videos. Now, what do I mean by these? Whenever we say my doodle is shy, I'd like to ask you to translate that to something like, when a new person is trying to approach my dog, she hides under the table. Because whenever we say my doodle is shy, we're going to label the doodle, that poor thing, and that's kind of a dead-end street. We're not looking for solutions. That's how she is, and nothing else needs to be done. But whenever we say my doodle, instead of my doodle is shy, that my doggy hides under the table when a new person is trying to approach her, then we leave the door open for solutions, how to resolve that case so your doodle can be comfortable. And whenever we watch the intro, that video I was talking about your doodle's life, the most awesome thing about this is we get to write the next episode. So whenever you say my doodle is shy, we can translate that into the real video that my doodle hides whenever a new person is trying to approach her. And we leave the door open for solutions to keep her comfortable. And that's the key. That's the way of thinking about grooming from outside the box. Because whenever you say my doodle is shy, we are thinking in the box. And the box is labeled as shy. And you are shy, and I'm going to put a grooming loop or a muzzle or harness on the dog because they are shy and they might bite. So the thing is, if you think in a way that leaves the door open, then your whole mind will going to be open to new solutions and thinking outside the box solutions, which will more likely fulfill your doodle's needs to not to be shy and to be more open-minded as well for new people, for example, or whatever they are dealing with. Signs of comfort. It can mean different things to different people and, of course, to different dogs. For example, a recently adopted stray sleeping under the bed in a warm house. That can be super, super comfy comparing to a situation when they were trying to hide under the stairs in the backyard deck while it was wintertime and it was snowing or below freezing. And if you compare that with snuggling your pup on the couch while watching a movie, that's also a different layer of feeling comfortable. So keeping in mind whether it's the first time for the doodle or you, or the 20th time for you or your doodle, will give you a general idea of the comfort level or what you might expect. But please do not stick to what you expect. You just keep that in mind, and please read body language and symptoms what your doggy shows to you. By the way, this is Henley there with her toys on her first doggy spa day. What is comfort? It can depend on a lot of things, and this doormat is one of my favorites. It says, hold on, we're probably not wearing pants. You can get it on Etsy, by the way. This tells you a level of comfort which the people in the house who bought this feel when they are home. Location, sounds, smells, difference between this comfort for dogs and for people can be huge. For example, let's say there's a sweaty armpit and the person did not have a bath for 2 days. What does it mean for humans? Now, it can mean different things. It can lift eyebrows for humans. For doggies, it can resolve a lost dog's case by leaving your dirty laundry out in the front yard, and your doggy will find you just by the smell. It happened to us actually with one of our kitty cats. And it can mean huge. Actually, my cats love to sleep on dirty laundry, and there's no better kitty bed than dirty laundry. So different situations can mean different comfort level and different kind of comfort or discomfort for doodles and for humans. So it's very, very important to keep in mind that every single situation is single in its own term, and we need to read the doggy's signs to determine whether that dog is comfortable or not comfortable. What are the signs of comfort? Soft muscles, relaxed body posture, normal breathing rhythm, can get the doodle's attention easily, open mouth or closed mouth, showing the belly, for example, when you're rubbing the doggy and they go on their back and you can rub their belly, coming close to you without even asking, leaning onto you or sitting on your lap. That's an awesome sign. I really love that one. First timers come to me and I sit on the ground with them and they sit on my lap. That's one of the craziest things I really, really like. Sniffing or licking you as a greeting. All of those are signs of comfort from the doggy, that they have trust, they are confident in the environment with you as a new person. That means huge. And whenever I meet with doggies who show these comfort signs, I'm very, very confident that the grooming is gonna go absolutely perfect and flawless. I would like to do an exercise about comfort. I collected the signs of comfort and I wanted you to play around a little bit in your mind about these questions, what I collected. Like, how do you feel when you are in a new environment? Can you poop in a gas station? When getting a great massage, how do you feel when you get a great massage? And how do you feel when you get a painful one? Your first day on your dream job or the 20th day on your dream job? How do you feel when you're with your sister, with your parents, with your neighbor? How do you feel when you're around dogs, cats, snakes, or spiders? How do you feel around loud noises? When you're hungry and you smell dinner cooking? When you're hungry and someone asks you to do something right now and you were just about to sit down and eat? All kinds of those situations can mean different things to you in a different situation. For example, you're more than happy, I bet you're probably more than happy to help someone out whenever you're not hungry and you're not just about to sit down to eat. And the same applies to doggies. I wanted to play these tiny exercises with you because it's much easier for us to imagine what goes around or what's in the doggie's mind whenever we are trying to groom them, once we get a feel of what are the possibilities of comfort and discomfort and how do we feel, so we can get a better understanding of how they feel in different situations. Discomfort signs, super, super important. It's shall I say, even more important than the comfort signs, because whenever we are facing with discomfort, we need work done differently. Let's talk about discomfort again. What is discomfort? It can mean, again, different things to different people and dogs. For example, a war zone, this kind of discomfort versus a leaf blower at 6:30 in the morning in the neighborhood on a weekend, kind of discomfort. Different ones, but we can be pissed in both, right? First time versus the 20th time. The location, sound, smells, difference between discomfort for dogs and pets and for people, just like we were talking about sweaty armpits. Then it can lift eyebrows for humans, or you can just go wild in case you're in the peak of your cycle and you're absolutely fertile and you doesn't care and you do not care. It's just like, it smells so good, I want it. So situational awareness needs to be in the back of our minds to be able to tell what means what for doodles and for us in different situations. I wanted to talk a little bit about doodle stress scale. Now, this stress scale is from Grisha Stewart, and I really, really, really like it. So I wanted to talk about this, and if you want to get it, you see her website, the link to her image right on the bottom of this page, and you can go there and check it out and say hi to her and thank her for this awesome image. So she differentiates between 5 zones for the doggies: green, blue, yellow, orange, and red zones. And in the green zone, the doggy has loose body, soft mouth and ears, not avoiding triggers, sniffing around, passing glances, easy to look away, moving to explore the environment. So basically we're talking about a happy-go-lucky who's exploring the new environment. In the blue zone, you're going to see a little bit of changes. They're gathering information, arcs towards trigger, ears up, focused eyes, scenting the air, like what's going on. They get so much information out of the air just by sniffing. And you still can disengage the doggy easily. So if you make some funny noises like then, or just call their name, they're gonna react and respond to that easily. The green one is the ideal one. You can follow the dog, no prompt needed. The blue zone is, okay, wait for disengagement and follow the dog. Slow stop at the shoreline. We need to keep an eye out for what's going on and how the doggy will react to the distraction, what they are exposed to. So this is kind of a wait and see situation. The yellow zone is a case when it takes more than a few seconds to disengage the doggy. So even if you call their name or make funny noises, they're not going to react that fast. Weight shifted slightly back, confidence is going back up, avoiding trigger somewhat, still able to look at the trigger, tail is low. So as you can see that on the doggy in the image here, that the whole behavior has changed and they are getting into a zone when they will go into fight or flight. So it's very, very important to keep super sharp eye out for your dog, especially in case the doggy is not on leash, because in case they are not on leash, they can go and run away. In case you're in a fence in doggy park, then she might or he might become the omega and the whole park is going to chase her, or at least a few doggies back up and then chase her. So it's definitely not fun to anyone. And it's very, very stressful for the dog itself. So they need help. You need disengagement. You need the doggy to focus on you. You need to encourage them back a little bit further, take a few steps back, even literally, and have her doggies get a little bit more comfier just by observing the situation a little bit further away. And keeping an eye out for your doggy to go back at least to the blue zone, so they're gonna be able to approach the new situation comfortable again. For example, some puppies get really afraid of sounds or trash cans or shadows. They can get into the yellow zone fairly fast, especially at a certain age. So you really need to help the doggy to step back a little, collect its confidence again, and then you can go there together and check out what's going on in there. Same situation with for example, the clipper or the blow dryer. You really want to get the doggy confident. Back again to blue or green zone, so you remove the distraction. Let this be a blow dryer or a clipper. You remove the distraction, remove the sound, remove the sensation, and just chill with the doggy until they can collect themselves a little bit. And then you can get the equipment back again. You can let them sniff it without switching it on or anything. They just sniffing it like, hey, handshake. This is me, doggy. This is me, the blow dryer or the clipper. Okay, cool. Then you move the clipper and the blow dryer away again to keep them comfortable, and you switch it on away from them. So no sensation is exposed. The doggy is not exposed to any kind of sensations, but the sound. So they can get comfortable only with the sound. And once they do, you can move the sound a little bit closer. And once they are still in the green-blue zone with the sound closer, you can give the doggy an extra step, the sensation, either the vibration or the airflow on their hair. And whenever you go this way, even if your doggy steps in the yellow zone a little bit, you can go back to the blue zone and green zone zones and keep your doggy comfortable. And whenever they get into the yellow zone and groomers put on grooming loops and harnesses and muzzles and go forward with the grooming steps and get the doggy into orange zone and red zone, and they are surprised that the doggy is biting them and they label them as aggressive, we groomers make huge, ginormous mistakes in those situations because the doggy already told us. They gave us signals that, hey, I'm in the yellow zone, I'm not comfortable, and I need space and time to digest whatever is happening to me. So as your doodle's groomer, the personal groomer, the groomer who knows most about your dog, because no one knows more about your dog than you do, I highly encourage you to be very, very cautious when you see your doggy in the yellow zone, and take a break and take a few steps back and practice the grooming situation, whatever it was: brushing, combing, blow drying, hair trimming with the clippers, anything. You really need to break them apart. For example, clipper, the sound sensation, the blow dryer, sound sensation, and practice. Sometimes being on the table and being exposed to the blow dryer is too much for the doggies. So if you break it apart and then you expose your doggy to the blow dryer while they're on the ground, they're going to be much more okay with that situation, and you can get them stay in the green-blue zones and later on add the table and keep them in the green and blue zones still. So whenever you are in the yellow zone, you really want to make sure you're paying attention. Let's talk about the orange zone. Weight shifted far back. Whenever doggies are in this case, in this zone, from grooming perspective, it's insanely important to stop. Absolutely stop. Red flag. You should not do this. And also the same applies, especially in the red zone. But you don't want to do anything while your doggy is in the orange zone or red zone unless it's absolutely necessary from health perspective. Beauty, look, doesn't matter. It's super, super important to keep your doggy back in the green and blue zones, because if you go forward in the orange zone and red zones, while it was not absolutely necessary, your doggy will be scarred. I'm not trying to make it light. The doggy will be scarred, and you need to work even harder to desensitize that dog to whatever you did to them or the groomer did to them in those two zones while they were in there. So it's going to be double, triple, quadruple the time you need to put in desensitization then to have your doggy go back to green and blue zones and start again, and not go to the yellow zone, or if you do, go back a little bit and then do practice again that one. So in case your doggy goes into the orange zone or red zones, you absolutely have to stop. And in case you take your doggy to the groomer, you really want to find a groomer who will know this and who will understand this and who will help you to stay out of the orange and red zones, and who will stop whatever grooming step they were doing. Oftentimes groomers, because they don't want to lose out on money, because in case they have to send a doggy home halfway groomed or just barely groomed at all or not groomed at all, they're going to lose money. So oftentimes doodle or groomers just go ahead and put on a harness or muzzle or grooming loop, or ask another coworker to help hold the doggy down for nail trimmings and stuff like that. Crazy things happen to them. You really need to find someone who will put their mind and soul into this. And whenever your doggy is not comfortable with anything, then they will let you know, and they will stop, and they will let you know what can you do, and they send you to a trainer or send you links what you can practice, and you two together can make progress. And they're not going to go further than your doggy's comfort zone, because in case they do, you both will have insane amount of work ahead of you to make sure that your doggy is going to be able to go back to the green zones and blue zones in different grooming steps. So I wanted to talk about this doodle stress scale because I need to stress it because it's super, super important to keep doodle still, keep an eye out for comfort and discomfort signs, and make sure you're keeping your doodle in the green and blue zones for grooming. Whenever the yellow zone is up there, you need to be aware of this and go back to the blue and green zones with taking a few steps back, taking the tool down, putting the tool down, and getting your doggy comfortable again with that grooming step. Whenever your doggy suddenly or step by step approaches the orange zone or red zones or gets in there, stop and find a groomer who will notice and who will work with you to make sure that your doggy is comfortable and stays in the blue and green zones. What are early discomfort signs? Not coming when called to get groomed. Have you ever experienced something like that when you grab the brush, your doggy runs under the bed or runs away, or maybe runs to one of your family members? So some sort of hoping for safety in their nearby them, or whenever your doggy is pulling away from the grooming salon, grooming room, person, table, tub, or when you grab the bath, the towels for the bath, and your doggy knows that, oh, it's gonna be my bath, so I'm gone. And those two are early discomfort signs, and all the rest here, but we're gonna run through them so you can get a little better understanding, and you can notice them as signs, not being shy, not being mean, not being aggressive, but those are little signs of discomfort, early discomfort signs, like putting weight on the leg or side you are trying to lift up. That's already a sign there. Your doggy is talking to you like, hey, I'm not comfortable you lifting that up. I'm not trying to make it harder for you to make it harder and make you angry. I'm doing this because I'm not comfy with that situation for some reason. Let it be that they have a little mat or foreign object in their feet in the one you're trying to lift up, or maybe they have something stuck under their paws on the one they need to put their weight on so you can lift it up. So that's why they are not cooperating. So we always need to keep an open mind out for possibilities. What is the reason why the doggy is doing what they're doing? Hiding paws out of reach. I oftentimes see this on doggies who had bad experiences about nail trimming, whose moms or dads or groomers did not pay attention to toe mohawks and poppet boomerangs and brushed their feet without finding them up front. And it's actually fairly easy to desensitize a doggy for. So that's another sign that, hey, I'm not comfy. Pay attention. I'm telling you. Kicking the paws out of reach, that can be because of they are ticklish, or they also have foreign object or tangles and mats in their paws. Tucking that tail under the belly, that's another very significant discomfort sign, more like on the later discomfort sign, not the late discomfort signs, but on the other end of the early discomfort sign scale. Visually checking the area you're trying to work on. You might saw your doggy while you were checking out their privates, that they turned their head in the direction what you were working on, or even their nose was close to your hand while you were checking something on their leg or side, and they really were supervising you like, hey, I really need to see what you are doing there because I'm not absolutely comfortable with this. You know, the trust fall, right? For humans, whether you're standing in front of someone and you lean back and they catch you. Now, that's an awesome sign of comfort if you can do that. I saw this with someone who was doing it with their dog. I was like mesmerized, like how on earth can you do that with a dog? But they did. So we really need to make sure that we are keeping signs out for our doodle's comfort and discomfort, and keep an eye out what they are telling us. Another thing is frequently, constantly licking you or the equipment. I see this all the time with clients. They tell me all the time, like, my doggy is licking me or licking the equipment. Now, that's a little bit further away from biting you or the equipment, but it can get there. So keep an eye out for that sign as well. Excessive drinking. Doggies can get pretty anxious, and excessive drinking in a new environment or in the tub can be pretty significant. So, yeah, first, you don't want the doggy to drink from the water under them, which contains shampoo and conditioner and dirt from the street. So you really want to stop that. But excessive drinking is a sign of discomfort and anxiety. So, or in case you know that your doggy had a good exercise before they got groomed, then it might be because they're just thirsty and they had a good run, but keep an eye out for the possibility that it's an early discomfort sign. Not getting up when asked to move. That can be a reason for discomfort as well. So, for example, in case you're brushing the doggy, one side of the doggy, and they are not happy with the way or the equipment what you're using, they won't move. They won't change their positions because hopefully you already are done with the side you were working on, and it's by the time you got there, it's comfortable enough, and they don't want to go to the other side because they know that it's going to hurt at the beginning, and they don't want to go there. So again, we need to learn the tricks, what kind of equipment and how to use the equipment, the right one, to help doggies to be comfortable and to stay there and get up whenever we want them to, because they just feel comfy. Curled up body posture for grooming. I see two types of this. Whenever they do like a kitty cat style, while they are standing, that their back is arched and vertically. And that's one sign that they are not comfortable. And whenever they curl back, like they try to touch their butt with their nose, kind of donut shape, which they do, both are discomfort signs that, okay, I don't really like what you're doing on my side, for example, or around my butt area, so I'm curling up my body. It's actually very hard to do a haircut on a doggy who does that. So you really, because you want the skin and the whole body to be stretched out, standing straight, so you can do a nice and even trim. And or in case you're brushing, you can do a nice and even brushing, and you can reach all spots on the doggy. So keeping your doggy comfortable enough to stand still and straight, and have a straight body posture will be huge, not just from the doggy's perspective, but also from yours, to be able to do an awesome trim or bath or brush or combing. Anxious tail wagging, head down, submissive body posture, just like this what we saw on the doggy on the previous slide, right there in the orange zone. Like, it's not really okay, and you can absolutely tell that the doggy is really not comfortable, so we need to do stuff to get them there. Let's talk about late discomfort signs. Like, we talked about the early ones, and what could be the late ones? Ears spin back, drooling, panting, muscle twitching. Those are typical general late discomfort signs. And on the lower or easier end of the late discomfort signs, frozen body, stiff head, anxious wagging, growling, snapping, biting, you or the equipment are on the other end of the late discomfort sign. Scale, we need to keep an eye out for those too, because whenever we are not paying attention to the early discomfort signs, and in case we are working on a doggy who would be rather go into fight than flight, then these late discomfort signs are on the plate for us to deal with. And even for the doggies who are submissive enough to stay in the flight mode, they are not comfortable. And I'm a big advocate of keeping all types of, whether they are into more fight or more flight type of doggies, we need both types to be comfortable. So we need to keep an eye out for early and late comfort and discomfort signs to make them comfortable so they will cooperate. As we were talking about this before, comfort equals cooperation. So whenever you see these discomfort signs, then they're not going to cooperate. So we need to tailor our tools and strategies to meet their needs, figure out feelings, needs, and strategies to meet those needs so they're going to be comfortable, so they will cooperate. Exercise discomfort. I wanted to do a quick exercise again so we can empathize a little bit more with our doodles. How do you react when your belly hurts, when you need to pee, when you want to go wild and tell everyone your joy? When your gut tells you something is off, or someone is telling you to wait, telling you to do something and you want to do something else, or happy to do what they request you to do, but you need 20 more minutes to do it and you don't want to do it right now. How do you react and how do you feel? What kind of needs are behind those feelings in those situations? And how do you react? This is an awesome part. I would like you to see that the same stimuli can gather different reactions from us in different situations. In different mindsets, what we have. How do you react when, let's imagine you set up 3 meetings. Let's imagine you set up 3 meetings in the past with your friend, and she was about 30 minutes late for each meetups. Now imagine that you set up a meeting with your friend again and you both agreed to be there at 5:30. Imagine you are there on time, she's late. How do you react? Imagine that your boss wants you to finish something at work before you leave to meet your friend and you realize you will be late this time. How do you react? Now you might be relieved because you know she has been always late, so she might gonna be late as well. Or you might gonna be frustrated because you really want to keep your reputation and you want to be there still, whether your friend is gonna be there or not, right on time. So there can be different reactions from us in different or even in the same situations because we have different mindsets. The same applies to doggies. So whenever your doodle is reacting in a way, I highly encourage you to try to understand what is going on underneath. Whether their belly hurts, whether they need to pee, whether they just want to go wild and you skipped the exercise before the spa day at home and they just trying to tell you with a lot of wiggling around that, hey mom, I really need to go out and have fun with my buddy or with you, or just run by myself and just go wild at the mailman or the neighbor's dog or something. And we would be aware of that and we could customize the grooming steps and keep them comfortable and cooperative.